family, community, everyone's
Pretending
place.
that they're not doing
Cool.
things that they're doing. Yep.
But
Okay.
there's lots of stuff that's being done that they shouldn't be doing, and
Yes.
the Southern Christian thing of
Oh.
that's not happening.
Yes. Let's just pretend it's not happening, and that equals it's not happening.
Yes. Okay. Audio is now doing stuff. So,
Hello.
and everything on.
Hi, can you hear me?
There's a lag, so you got a second. Don't worry. Yep.
Great.
Cool.
Thank
All right,
you.
let's say we'll go to second, and I will tell you when I can hear us. And that
Okay, so so we are live streaming on my page, but we are not live streaming. There's like a pre-roll that's happening. Okay?
So they saw me do
No,
that.
no, nobody's seen anything. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. There's all pre-stuff. Nobody's seen this.
Oh, good.
So go ahead and go to my Facebook page.
I'm on your Facebook page.
Is that my page or my personal?
Like that? Or do you want me to go to...
No, that should be, that's the one actually.
The
Yeah.
Kinetic.
No,
Okay.
this one. Let me see. What you got? That's it. So you just hit, give me
Sure.
1 second.
Yeah.
Let me update it to public, and then you can
Okay.
share it.
Perfect.
All right. Cool.
Okay, so it's now set to public.
Cool.
And give me 1 second, Ginger.
Okay.
Edit post.
Awesome. We are.
Will that little icon change from
I
two
think
people?
so. You
Okay.
might need a I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm managing it, so
I can refresh.
exactly.
I know how to do that.
Awesome.
She's got the advanced degree, that one.
All right, everyone stop making fun of Abe because now we're live and we have audio and video.
Oh, we have audio and video.
Yeah.
Oh, what's
Hello.
up?
Hi, everyone.
Good morning, everybody.
Share now.
This is your favorite host, Abe Nadimi, reporting from Nadimi Studios.
We could say a host.
We're back to that again.
I thought that brain juice.
I'm trying to
was
take
really
over
smarter.
over the studio name.
The
That's
brain
exactly
power
what.
did not work. It just made it more egotistical.
Yes, I did have the brain juice yesterday, so I'm excited. I'm going to tell you guys about that.
Oh, Lord.
Lord, Lord.
So I'm actually just finishing the little post here
Yes.
on our Facebook, on my Facebook.
Awesome. Well, I'm not doing any of that stuff because I'm good to go. So,
Yes.
Emily Francis.
Hi, Emily.
Jannica Morton. And who are you?
Ginger Reid.
Who dis?
Hi. How's it going?
News to me, who dis?
This is going to be so fun. So I'm super excited. We got my dearest friend, Miss Ginger Reid here.
How are you?
Oh, how are you? Let's see how long she'll stay really nice to me before the cut down.
Longer
starts.
than any of the rest of us.
Huh?
I truly love you, but you know.
But you know, did you hear that?
Well, like I said, it's you kind of just have to love him, or
Or I will make you.
Or the alternative is.
Very
is-
painful.
you spend lots of hours trying to figure out where to bury him. Is what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
The world needs you, Abe.
Yes, I think so. That's what I've been screaming. That's what I'm screaming to everybody. So Ginger,
Yes.
Ginger liked to really overthink this event.
Oh,
I
come
want-
on.
So because of that, we're going to be really, really hard on you
Get
and ask
drunk
you
and
1,000
thinking.
questions.
That's what I do every
Okay.
morning, and it works out great.
Okay.
She's
Well,
texting me yesterday like, what is the duration of questions? How much time do I have between the
didn't
green
ask all
room
of
and the
that.
studio? I'm like, this is not the Ellen show. Like,
I didn't
And
ask all of
this
that.
is run like a town hall debate, so I will be timing your answers, and I will.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
let you know
yeah,
when it's
that's so
time.
great.
When you've got 5 seconds remaining. I will.
Well, Abe invited me to a presentation where it's just like slide after slide after slide. It was the hardest presentation I've ever done.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was so funny.
So
That was nuts, actually. We did really good, though.
we did it.
It was,
We conquered.
do you remember what the name of the event was? It was,
Ignite
Is
Freelance.
it okay?
huh?
Ignite Freelance.
Yeah, it was the Ignite, but it's the Ignite slide deck style.
Yeah.
And so
I-
what
what
it
is
is,
that called? Like, it's like a power presentation where you're just like slide
the slides
after
advance,
slide.
what, every 30 seconds? I think that's what it was. Something of that nature. And there was
Yeah,
a total.
maybe not even that long.
Oh, yeah, I don't think so.
Or 20,
Every
yeah.
20 seconds, I think there was a slide change, right? And so you had 21 slides or whatever.
Yeah,
It came out
it
to like
was-
5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, so you had to really structure it, you
That's a
know.
lot of work.
And then how do you know which slide you're on?
Yeah.
It was interesting.
It was a lot
We did
harder than you can actually, yeah, because it just is rotating behind you.
Yeah.
So if you stumble, then all of a sudden what you're talking about is not linked to what's on the slides behind you.
No.
So yeah, it's actually pretty tricky.
I know, like
There was
that.
one moment where I was,
Like double dutch.
the slide was staying for a long time, and it just seemed like, I was like, wow, I didn't expect this. This is interesting. It's like frozen in time or something.
So this is fun because we're doing, like, we do
Yeah.
live streaming and we're simultaneously like always are ready to like chat with people too and like comment the post. So
Good.
you see all of this crazy stuff that's happening live, and then we have Adolfo here live streaming on Instagram, and so it's just kind of all over the place.
Get it
Perfect.
for the gram.
So we're gonna ask you some very deep questions.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
Really?
Is it really?
Well, it's one of them. I like pink and blue. Yeah.
Oh, me too.
So I think actually it's best started if we say that expression that you told me about at Landmark Forum yesterday or 2 days ago.
Which one?
You said in front of 50 people, you stood up and you said, what? Do you remember?
Oh.
And I think this will be a great kickoff because then you'll really,
I said I'm outrageous self-expression.
and that's it. So if you want to know Ginger Reid, like that's
Yeah.
really,
Outrageous.
mine is like doing criminal activity, like she is outrageous.
I
And
love
it's
that.
super fun. And everybody in my house loves Ginger because she can just come over and she'll roll around on the floor on the kids, and I mean with the kids, and then go out
Play
and then
words
want
with
to jump.
friends
and
with your wife who beats
Yeah.
me all the time. Yeah.
beat, I don't think is really the right word. It's more like decimate.
I'm getting better. I mean, I'm winning.
I was like, Ginger, don't do this. Don't start. Because Ginger's just brutal.
In maybe 3 months, I've won 4 times or 5 times.
But
yeah.
but Ginger's
And we
also
play-
the most tenacious person in history.
New game, yeah.
So,
That's how I love playing those games, but I can't anymore.
Tangiel
I
sent me
spend
a
all of my time.
My glasses are fogging up. Can you tell?
Tangiel sent me this screenshot, and it's like, you just scored 485 points, and or whatever. Like, what?
I literally was showing someone. It's like 93 points for 3 letters. Like, how did you get 93 points
It's
with
so-
3 letters? How does that happen?
Yes, it's so bad what she does.
I know, I totally want to play with Tangy, but I don't. So,
Yeah.
just not going to.
I have a hard time playing against human people because I get super impatient. Because okay, I would like to devote this much time to playing a game now. I do not want to wait 45 minutes or 2 days.
Yes, you're
yes,
doing-
that's my. Yeah,
You can
that's the
nudge
other reason I
people and
quit.
say, hey.
Yeah, but
Hey,
I,
wake up.
do it. Yeah.
nudging is a little too subtle for how I generally interact with people. Hey, hurry up!
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
No.
I want to beat you so I can do something else. Let's go.
So Ginger,
Yes.
tell us your life story. I keep on asking these questions and see. So what do you think? What
Yeah.
is about outrageous self-expression,
That's great.
such as that song
Like
for
that.
your ringtone?
Yeah, that's my first concert, Loverboy. funny.
Outrageous self-expression. What does that mean to you?
I think it's just being with people and like just expressing parts of you that you want to express, no matter if people like it or if they don't like it. But you also care about other people and how it affects other people. So outrageous self-expression, I just felt like I had built this little box for myself of how I could interact with people. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted to just like, Abe, I love you so much. Like that. Like if you want to be intense, be intense. And if you want to be calm, be calm.
Just be
Like-
you. Just be.
Just enjoy
Yeah.
the moments. But don't walk through life like you're a zombie.
No.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I'm just thinking through. You said I had a box for myself.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people do have box. Do you feel like in the moments where you're expressing yourself like that it's another part of you, or is it almost like an actress playing a role? Have you ever thought of it that way? Or do you
I
think
have
it's
thought
helpful
of it.
to think of it that way for some people?
I think if that's the only way you can get there, think of you playing a role.
Mhm.
Think of you playing a character. And I even say that to people. Which character do you want to be? Because if you don't believe that you can be that yet,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be beneficial,
Let it be your avatar that you can kind of slip
absolutely. Until you can start seeing yourself that way and really own that
Yeah.
as who you truly are. So I think it is a part of you, but a lot of times I see people stop right before they get the magic or they experience like the bliss of it, you know?
They hit the brakes right before the jump.
It's like, hold on, I think I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do this other thing. Yeah.
Such as?
Such as? Where people are going for something they say they want, and almost always at some point in that process, they'll think they changed their mind. It's like, I don't really want that.
Yeah, it's so funny. We just talked about this, I think, yesterday, right? Or the day before around business goals and people setting business goals and big.
Every time. And so you have to know when people are serious and they really do want to go in a different direction, or they're just trying to play it safe. And so if they're trying to play it safe, does it serve them to just say, okay, we'll settle for that?
Playing it safe doesn't serve anyone.
Mm-mm. So yesterday I had a client do something one more time and they wanted to stop, and I said, no, you can stop, it's your choice, of course, but I'm not signing off on that. One more time. And there was a lot of resistance, but that last video was amazing. It was just amazing. I mean, I was moved to like, wow, great version of you.
That's cool.
So Ginger, what do you do when you were talking about your clients?
Oh, I'm a business executive sales and career coach, and I'm a certified Gallup strengths coach.
I took the test.
That's what I am, but I do a lot of different things.
When I took the Gallup test,
That's
it's really
all
crazy.
that defines you. That is who you are. There's
I
nothing
know,
else.
that's it.
You're a work bot.
I caught that too, actually.
That's good.
When I took the Gallup test, mine,
Yeah.
it broke their systems. They're like, you're strong in
Please,
everything.
Whatever. No, I do remember now.
I have it on my phone. Right?
Pull it up,
I
Ginger.
have ours right
Let's
here.
see. How fast can I get that?
Oh boy.
So yesterday we went to our friend Brad Hunstable's launched an Ivy bar in South Lake. So they had the grand opening yesterday.
Nice. I love
So-
South Lake.
Yeah, it's really awesome. So we went up there, we went to the grand opening, and I didn't know what to expect. I thought they were just like, check it out, get some pictures or whatever, have some tea and punch or whatever, and get out, right? And he's like, oh, you know what? These guys, hook them up, whatever they want. And so I think Jannica
Like
got
food.
Yes, Jannica got the wrinkle
I
reducer,
did not. I should have.
the age reducing one, and
No,
I got.
I did not.
What'd you get?
I did the
So
immune booster.
They're
what is
basically
it?
the same.
Oh, is it like drinks?
No, IV.
Like a
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
and I got the brain focus, so it's all more like intense now.
Oh,
No.
Is that why you're not ADHD today?
It was just powdered Adderall in there.
Okay, I found his top 5. Abe's top 5
There you
were
go, thank you.
relator, significance, restorative, responsibility, and intellection. Intellection? That's
Yes,
a word.
intellection.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Please tell Jannica what intellection means.
I'm teasing
Oh
you.
my gosh.
Tell her, Ginger, please.
Well, you know how Abe really likes to think through things and share
Is that a thing?
share
The
his
thinking through the-
it really look, yeah, yes.
I have not noticed that.
She can't keep up. That's really what the problem
Oh,
is.
is that it?
Well, I need to have the strength of spelling things out. That's what I need to do.
Yeah.
So then my intellect can
This
be
is
matched.
great because a lot of people try to take their weaknesses and turn them into strengths.
See, I set you up for that.
And
That was
that's
pretty good,
kind of like
On D host, not A host.
trying to power lift weights that are too powerful for you. And you can do it over time, maybe if you work up to it, but you're not going to make very much progress over time. Where if you take a talent that you have and turn it into a strength, you can gain so much momentum. You can accelerate that process. You can start to see true results. It's pretty powerful.
My top 5 were futuristic, connectedness, individualization, strategic, and learner.
Nice.
Yup.
Yep.
Yup.
Yup.
I'm
Individualization for her. Can you
I'm
tell us what?
individualization.
Tell her what that
also.
strength is.
That means we're perfect. Just tell him that, please.
No.
No! I don't like you anymore.
I I do think you're pretty perfect, though, Jannica.
No, we were supposed to tell him that we're perfect, and he's
Yes,
not.
that's
why.
it.
You know, with my brain focus plus intelligence, I can figure out this BS immediately.
So individualization is where you really individualize something for each person.
Oh my God, this
because
is the bane of my
uni-
existence.
Because they're unique, and
Yes.
you recognize the uniqueness in each individual, and you want to speak to that, communicate to that, support that, right? So
Like a normal non-sociopath, you might say?
Sure.
you want to ignore that.
They're digging on me. They're rubbing on me.
Yeah.
So what are
So,
yours?
so in a
Taylor? What are
military,
your
so
top
hold
five?
on a second. Hold on a second.
Responsibility.
Could Jannica be a military general with the trait of individualistic?
Well, look, is it a strength when we customize to every individual and forget about the collective? No, so we have to kind of pull back on that and find a balance with it, right? Like, where is it a strength?
Right.
Like, where's that pivot point where it's truly a strength? So customizing to each client, not every client needs the same thing.
Right.
They might be going through the same program, but we do different exercises together because that's really going to benefit that person in what they're trying to accomplish right now. However, if we get too minute with that, we can get lost in each individual and forget about the collective.
Right.
Good, right?
Yeah, I would say
It's
politically that
seamlessly.
seems to be an issue in certain fields where everyone tries to dig down way too deep into every single person, and we can't all just get our shit together. I'm like, okay, as a team,
Right.
all us individual snowflakes need to work together. We're all special.
That's
we're all
good.
individual. We're all snowflakes. But Jesus, we need to be a blizzard right now. Everyone blow this way.
That's great.
Blow it
I
this
like
way.
that. I like that analogy.
That's a good way to do it. I like that.
So what 3 things would be great for that team to focus on to get the blizzard going?
Yeah.
To benefit something, right? That's really great.
Yeah.
So I'm responsibility, individualization, achiever, self-assurance, and futuristic. We share 2 of the same.
Achiever, self-assurance,
Mhm.
and futuristic. Awesome. I'm putting those in. And do you know what yours are?
I don't
Yeah.
know if I ever did that.
Oh, it's a cool
We
thing.
can hook
I
you
think
up.
individualistic would be probably high on hers too.
You do?
Probably.
I do care about people.
Holy
You care about each individual human and their traits very much so, like Jannica.
Yeah.
I'm all like, we
Works.
need to go kick the ball that way and score a goal. And Janica's like, but maybe that person really doesn't want to score today. What's wrong? Like, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the fact that they don't want to score today. But that's what we're
Yeah.
doing right now is
Then
trying
they
to
shouldn't
score.
be on the team.
So
Yeah.
I think it would be high on yours, but not as high as hers.
Yeah.
I mean, I want each individual person to feel valued and special as long as they just do
As
what-
long
Do
as
what
they.
you
Do it.
do everything that you want them
Hers
to
is
do.
gonna be very,
That's great.
very heavily focused in listen to me. That's what yours is gonna be.
Listen, you can do it your way or the right way.
Exactly.
Coincidentally, my way is the right way, so if you'd like some advice,
Which
So-
is not coaching.
I'll ask you girl.
She's not a Leo and not a redhead, right? Like it's so obvious
Yes.
in all of her
Yes.
personality.
Definitely not any
Great.
of that, for sure.
That's so funny. Well, no, these are all really interesting because I remember in some of what you do with companies is that it's around being able to quadrant people in a sense, like you're like this, you're like this, you're like this. And so these are how you bridge the gaps in communication and
Yes.
styles.
Yes.
Or also, are you in the right place?
Yeah, is it a true fit for that individual? Because a lot of companies have the right people, but they don't have them in the right
Spot.
position.
Mm.
And you could extrapolate more of their potential and their strengths if you just found out what they really want to accomplish and where they would like to work. But it really, and I say that like, oh, that's it. Except you have to find out if that's really where they want to go.
Yes, of course,
Or is it just
For
where
sure.
they think they want to go?
for sure.
So there needs to be a little work around that, like figuring out, is this the right role for you? Oh, I didn't know I had to do that. No, that's not the right
Yeah.
role.
And then it's like, but why is it not the right? Well, why? And then you may
Exactly.
find a fear that's in there or a limiting belief.
Exactly.
And then that could be unpacked and and then they actually would want to
And
do
then
the job.
you unplug that and
Everything changes again.
zoom. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, being able to do something does not mean it's the thing that you want to do or should do.
Yeah.
And by should, I mean what will actually fulfill you, not.
Right.
Well, what do you think of
That's my
the?
whole point. Like
Absolutely,
when
that's
Abe
great.
brought up the let's kick a goal and me saying like what if the person doesn't want to? If someone doesn't want to, it doesn't have their heart and their whatever mental capacity into participating,
Yeah.
they're not going to be helping the team get a goal. In some way or other, their energy is going to be blocking it and
Yep.
whatever. Don't have them on the team. Ask them. Like,
All my
go
friends
sit on the bench
and
today.
playing sports ever.
And maybe it is that they're meant to get in the game, and you can really encourage them to get in the game, but it always is their choice. And they could say, I'm not playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or some people go, okay, I'll play because you encourage me to do it. And then they're like, thank you so much
Yes.
for not giving up on me, right?
Or
Yeah,
maybe their
I mean,
contribution to the team is like, you're the trainer.
Right.
So I have a question to balance between self-directed learning and education and so forth. Well, so let's act like you
A
don't know
little
what it
bit.
means. So let's act like you don't know. So even for the people who are watching. So Jannica, could you in like 30 seconds kind of
I like how he gave me a limit.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got a timer. Ready?
Okay.
He's like, could you give us a
Self-directed
brief?
learning is basically pursuing your passions and curiosity.
Love it.
That's it.
okay.
In whatever, choosing whatever paths you would
Yes.
like to do
It
that.
could be
Yep.
teaching yourself. It could be hiring
Yep.
a mentor. It could be going to school. It could be taking an online class. It could be just diving in and figuring it out.
Mhm.
Self-directed learning is really, it just comes down to you making the choice what you want to learn and doing it. However that
I've
is.
been doing that my whole life and
Mhm.
career, but I didn't call it that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's interesting. It's like, what are you most drawn to? And so I would go to work during the day in technology,
Mhm.
and then at night I would go to workshops and transformational
Yeah.
events and read books and
Because those lit your fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
learning how human beings work. And
So how do you handle from that side, right, versus what you do, which is sometimes pushing people past their comfort zone?
I like that you said that, because ICF is the International Coaching Federation, and they say don't tell people what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I disagree with that a little bit. So it would be like yesterday, I could have said, oh, you don't want to make another video? Okay. Why don't you want to make another video? So I did go through those questions, but I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying that style didn't work for me, because I played sports. And in sports, you do say, look, we're going to run this play. Here's the play, and let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if it works.
Right.
Okay, just because it didn't work that time, let's try it again, or let's try it a different way. So I think you have to balance those two, because the person is always the expert about what they do, and you might be the expert about what tools and techniques they can apply as levers to get to where they want to be, and you can see how to connect the dots. But there's a lot of different paths they could take. So one way would be to say, I see that there are 3 paths that we could take. What do you see? And then they share, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of what I was seeing also. But I don't really tell them which paths until
It's gonna be
they.
different for each person, right? Like you're gonna guide Abe a completely different way than you're gonna guide me, or you're gonna guide Emily. Just by
Yeah,
our
I'm going to put a saddle on Abe.
Throw a bag over his head, drive when we're gonna
No,
go.
We just went Brokeback Mountain really fast, didn't we? Just going over there.
he's a little stubborn, but you know,
No,
but he has so much greatness, and
God, I need to record this. Oh, it's recording. Good.
oh, it's recording.
Yes.
Everyone,
Here, I'll
the
even
world
put it
will
in
see.
here.
I'm gonna
your
be able to send
greatness.
it back to Ginger.
says, I'm here, so it's perfect. For
I
you.
do not appreciate
You-
you trying to build up the self-esteem. I've been working very
I'm
hard
not.
to break down.
I'm not building up the ego.
I am working
I'm not
very
building
hard.
up the
I'm
ego.
working very
so
hard to
much
break
effort.
down.
You were just unraveling.
I've been
I
working.
apologize.
Months of work gone in like 2 seconds.
It's not. Look, there is building
So
up
funny.
someone's ego, and
Yeah.
then there's building up someone in who they
And
in who they truly are. Like
Yeah.
he's
So
one of
funny.
the most loving,
Mhm.
you know, dads. I mean,
Oh, dad.
he's an amazing dad.
She had to qualify
Were
that.
those your
Twilight.
kids?
He's an amazing husband,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Mhm.
He's an amazing brother and
Friend,
friend
yeah, that's right.
and coworker. I mean,
Partner.
he truly cares about the people that.
Yawn. Tell me something I don't know, Ginger.
What don't you know? What do you want to know? What do you want to know about you? I have some.
We went
things
to
I
lunch
know.
yesterday with Jessica, and we were talking. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened. I said something. She's like, "Oh, she's moving to LA." She's like, "God, I'm gonna miss this confidence. I don't see
Yeah.
it very often." And it was so simple. And I think it's something that you might have said before yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you're exactly what you say you are.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just that simple. So you
There's
can-
no inauthenticity over there with you, and I do love that.
Thank you. I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
that. That's very nice of you.
That's enough about you. Can we talk?
No,
about
not at all. We'll just stay on topic at Nadimi Studios. So I think the reason I asked that question is because, you know, there is the self-directed approach,
Sure.
and I just read an article, and it was at, I don't know, one of the big colleges, and what has happened is that what had happened was what is currently happening
Yes.
is that to get a degree in data science or whatever, the engineering department is forcing an elective in improv.
I love it.
And yeah, they're forcing the
That's
improv
great.
class. And engineers literally going in there like puking, crying, like,
Oh my God, I would
no.
hated it.
But they're like, you have to take this class to graduate. And so naturally, most of them leave it to the end, right? The last year,
Yeah.
the last semester, right? And some of them are sweating and crying and all this other stuff, meaning
Yes.
they don't want to do it,
Yes.
refuse to do it. Ultimately, they do it, and a lot of them are like, that was the best experience. I'm so happy that I had to go through that because now I can da-da-da.
That's
And the point was, engineers need to be trained to be able to talk to other people. And just because you're great at behind the computer doesn't mean that that's where it stops for you, because you do have to present your data to either your smaller team or your bigger team, to the CEO, whatever. And so we need to be able to teach you how to communicate. This is a vital skill for you, right? But the engineers were not wanting to do it. So then I asked the question, which was on the self-directed learning thing, how does this balance? Because there were obviously some great results for I'm sure not all the students, but a lot of the students.
Yeah.
That at the same time they were kicking and punching to go into the class, and from a self-directed perspective, they would not have taken a class. So how do we balance that? Because,
It's tough.
or do we say, well, it was self-directed. They decided to go to a school to get a degree that had this requirement. It's
Yeah.
on them. So I mean, there's one way to just
That's
validate
true.
and say it's just self-directed, but there's a lot of things that I also see, and I bring up sports as an example. No, coach, I do not want to run up the bleachers, you know, carrying another person, which you had to do in wrestling class. Like,
Right.
I don't want to.
Did
I
you want to
literally
do that?
fuck no, I didn't want to do
Would you
that.
have chosen that for
Nope,
yourself?
would not have chosen that. And if it was not in that particular environment with a coach, there's no way I
Yeah.
would have done it. Like, I'm not the guy to go and run up bleachers by myself. But if I was in a team, something's different.
Well,
And-
it becomes about more than just what you want. And I
Right.
think that when
It's
people
like
can.
parenting. It's like, I don't want to drag a kid up the stairs, but well, they're tired, they're not going to go, so I guess I'm going to carry you up the stairs.
You said carry or drag. You changed
Well,
it.
Either.
So one is
Depends.
drag. We're like dun 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 dun. As
That's very different. But look, I wouldn't have ridden 500 miles on a bicycle. you
oh
know,
my God! Hold on, stop. Tell that
unless,
story.
Unless
Unless what?
it benefited other people. It
Really?
wasn't. I wouldn't have done it for I wouldn't have just, I'm going to go ride 500 miles on a bicycle.
So tell us that story real fast. Like, what was the other people that you were benefiting? Let's start there.
That was the AIDS ride.
Okay.
And that was from Austin. It was the first one. It was from Austin to Houston to Dallas. And
But surely you've been training for 10 years before you decided to do this, right, Ginger?
no, I'd never ridden
Listen to
very
this
far
story.
on a bicycle, and I'd never clipped in. And so
So
I
she
decided
decided to
to go around White Rock Lake a couple of times and got sick. And then I maybe rode 2 or 3 other times. Someone donated their bicycle for me to ride, and they even gave me shoes to clip in.
Craziest story ever.
And yeah, I did it, 500 miles from Austin to Houston to Dallas.
Wow.
But it was raising money to benefit someone, you know. And I don't just care about one charity. I mean, it's like, yeah.
500 miles.
Yeah.
So
that was a lot of motivation though that she had to keep her going.
Sorta. What was the benefit to the AIDS organization?
A percentage of those funds that we raised went to benefit different
See, here's what I would have done
organizations.
about 3 minutes into this ride. Like, okay, 500 times $1 is $500. Fuck this. I'm writing a $500 check. I'm done. I cannot. This is crazy. She's just like, I'm gonna ride this motherfucker out, and just rides it out.
Yeah.
Never. That's like running an ultra marathon, having never ran before. Just to put it in perspective.
Gross.
It's got to be the same.
I
It's
did
got
a
to be the
sprint
same.
triathlon that similar way. I don't recommend that. Like, that's not the best way, but it's just like I make up my mind to go do something, and I'm going to find a way to do it. Right? It's
So crazy.
but that's not the preferred way.
Right,
It's better
of
if
course.
you train
But
for
you're
it.
so tenacious.
Yeah, but I was on a hill in Austin that I should not have been on, and then I realized, oh wow, I don't know how I'm going to go up this hill. And it's like, well, you're either going to go down the hill or you're going to go up the hill. Choose. And so I had to give it everything I had. And
So this is Austin, by the way, guys. This is the front of her trip. So
Oh,
this
God.
is like, I haven't even left the first city yet, and I'm facing.
Austin's pretty hilly.
I'm
compared
facing.
it is, but
The end
they
of my life
gave me a
moments.
chart,
So
you
funny.
know, to show how steep the hills were. So yeah, pay attention to those things
Well,
That-
and for my case, it'd be like,
that engineers do for you, right?
It was pretty flat on here. It's fine. Oh god. Oh god.
It looks flat on the paper. It's gotta be good. They're like, with this like skull and crossbones, like, don't do this,
Yeah,
and you're like,
don't
nah, it's
show
okay, I
those,
got it.
yeah.
No, so
But
go
see-
back. So that goes back to the point. You're saying because there was a bigger group, and I'm like, no, I don't think so, because you could have quit and said like, I'll give you the money. Like your point was the money and the
I
support.
could have raised the money and not completed the ride.
But you didn't. You
But
were
when
all
I
in on
start
that.
something, I finish it,
Mhm.
and it's a big deal to me. It's like if you're going to start something,
What made you so gritty? Because that's a grit trait. That's all grit. What made you so gritty? Anything that you could
That-
think about?
a lot of things, but
There's a lot of people that have gone through sports. They have gone through
yeah.
musical classes, and they become very gritty because they're just
Yeah.
like, no, I'm going to learn this. I'm going to figure this out. And there's some people that just can't. And we talk about that all the time as one trait. That how do we promote that trait, which is a really positive trait to
Yeah.
have in people.
I think I don't know exactly what thing made me be that way, but when someone said, you can do this, I'm like, well, let's see if I can do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if someone didn't believe that early on in my life, if you didn't believe that I could do it, I didn't believe I could do it.
Yeah.
So when people would say, you know, like my 6th grade English teacher, Ginger, I was a class clown. I mean, I don't know if you could figure that out, and she said, Ginger, I believe you could be in my highest English class if you just applied yourself. And I'm like, what? I'm in your lowest English class right now, lady.
Hold on. But
What do
what did it sound like when you originally had said that? Let's see if she can get the accent right.
I'm not talking in my Alabama accent. So I'm not doing it.
She's like, no.
Nope, not happening.
I'm not.
Well,
going
now
to
every
be.
word you're gonna be like, wait.
I know.
No,
Wait.
Right? Okay. What do I sound
Yeah.
like when I talk?
So anyway, within like a week or two, I was in front of her highest English class reciting poetry. But she believed in me, and then when I had coaches who believed in me, I would rise to their belief and match that, right?
Yeah.
So if a friend said, "I think you can complete this ride," well, I've never trained for this ride. You can still do it. You've got the power. Okay, I'll do it. So
Peer
if
pressure.
the challenge is worthy, right, and someone believes something better about you than you believe about yourself, adopt it.
Mm-hmm.
If someone believes something less about you than what you believe about you, unless it's constructive criticism that would benefit you, then ignore it.
I love that. It's
And
such a simple litmus test.
Yes, absolutely. So if I believe that you can do something and that would benefit you and others, you should try it if it's of interest to you at all.
Right, for sure.
Even if you're afraid and don't know how you could do it and don't think you can. Especially if
Especially.
yeah.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you 100%. So I
Because
use
then you get to know another part of yourself. And I even tell people, I'll help introduce you to parts of you that you don't even know are amazing. Yeah.
sounds so kinky, but okay.
It is not at all, Abe. Don't make it into that. Goodness gracious.
I can't wait to do your human design.
It's so great. It's so great to get Ginger embarrassed. She gets so red.
Oh my goodness. Can we talk about my puppy?
Is it a self-directed puppy?
Yes. Yes.
She actually can pray. She says, I love you. She can dance. She closes doors, cabinet doors. She closes the dishwasher.
That's so cute.
See, mine licks the dishes if I don't close the dishwasher and gets in the refrigerator. So I would like to do a little home swap. That'd be great.
No.
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 Did you guys read what Tandy wrote?
What's she write?
If you are self-directing to the end result, then you willingly do the things that challenge you to achieve what you originally set out for, even when it's hard. That is so true.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Hold on.
I'd
Can
like
you say
to
that
play
one more time?
Words with Friends with you.
Can you say that one more time, please?
Yes. If you are
Yes.
self-directing to the end result,
To the end result. Okay, got it.
then you willingly do the things that challenge you to achieve what you originally set out for, even when it's hard.
Damn.
Yes.
And she married you.
She got those. So she's sparking right now.
Yeah.
She's on
That's
it.
good.
She got the right amount of caffeine flowing,
Yes.
right enough sleep.
Yeah.
This one, she's genius. Her genius shows up. She knows. No, we always have this conversation here because of how do we? It's all with the same goal, obviously, of trying to encourage our children. Obviously, we have children ranging from 18 all the way to 1 between the two of us. So it's 8 kids.
18.
No more? Scotty.
Oh.
Mine.
So it's Scotty
I was
and
like,
then
no, it's
Evan.
not 18.
No, it's Scotty, Evan, Sion,
Okay.
Nor.
then
No,
Grant and Nor. They're like really close.
Okay.
Grant and
You're
Nor.
freaking me out right there. I'm
And
like,
then
wait, Nor's not
Scarlett,
that old.
Issa, Noah. So between the two of us, we have 8 kids ranging
Gotcha.
from 1 to 18
I
years
see
old.
what you're doing.
So we
there.
hit all
You're
of the
blending your
spectrum of
family.
crazy. Yeah.
So it's just trying to
That's
think
a lot.
through, so our goal's always like, what's the best that we can do,
Mm-hmm.
as parents and influential people in the other children's life to provide the best environment
Yeah.
that we can. And so we differ in some of these things because I'm more from the, you can do it, I'm gonna hold the space for you, and I'm tougher on it. And Jannica is more kind and loving and compassionate,
Perfect.
And
Let's add perfect. in there.
patient and perfectly nonsensical. You see how I added the perfect in front of
Oh my
nonsense?
God.
Okay.
Well,
she
I
wants
li-
free range kids.
I do. Free range.
Cage free.
Well, I like empathy. I really care that that's challenging for you.
Mm-hmm. Sucks to
But
be
I
you.
think I'm a little more tough, like Abe. I'm loving. I'm very loving. Like, if I love you, I want you
Yeah.
to recognize the best in you. And it's a little hurtful to me to see people waste their potential.
Oh my
It's
God.
horrid.
It's like, so
So
if
that,
I have to choose empathy or tough love, it's probably going to be the tough love.
yeah, I'm the
Because
same
gonna be
way.
like, no, you can do it. You're amazing, and you can believe that you're not amazing, or you can go see how amazing you are.
So let me ask you a question. I'm going to push on that.
Okay, great.
Why does empathy not equal tough love? Why can they not be both? Because in my opinion, it has to be both. Otherwise, the child is not going to respond to the tough love. They're going to do it out of the responsibility to listen to you. They're not going to do it out of a life changing within them. But if you meet them with empathy and
No,
tough love,
but you
then
said-
they adopt it and understand it.
Hold on,
So
but you
that's
said one key thing.
I like
you,
what you're saying.
you said
too.
because you forced them to. Is that what you said?
And empathy is truly just you are understanding what they are having.
But
You're
That's
not
right.
sitting
Why
in
are why are they on opposite ends? Because they're not.
I don't think they're. Yeah, I definitely think they're opposite.
I think that you have to, as a parent, you need to combine the two.
I love the combination of the two. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if I had to choose one or the other,
Yeah.
I would probably choose the tough love, because if you can get someone to do something and see a version of themselves that they haven't seen that's super amazing, now they
Yeah.
recognize they can do more than they thought they could,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and they can apply that to other areas, and they recognize strengths where they thought they didn't have strengths in that area.
And that's awesome.
And I
So-
don't think they're mutually exclusive. Like you
Right.
need both.
Yes.
Because I understand where you are and how you're feeling. However, I've got either experience or insight, or I'm far enough back to see
Yep.
something you're not seeing. 'Cause you're deep in whatever your feelings are. So
Mhm.
the tough love part is, I hear what you're saying. However, this is still an alternate reality that you might need to explore.
Right.
Love it.
So that is exactly how we parent.
Good.
What I don't agree with, and I think it's really semantics in the way we're talking right now, is the tough love that I
Do
have.
it my way.
Do it my way. But I have so many
Yeah.
friends and family who still suffer over, you're gonna take piano because I told you to take piano, and you're 4, and you're gonna take it until you can master it. Growing up in the Seventh Baptist church where you had to play the piano,
Yeah.
it was just a thing, right? Especially if you were a girl. My dad couldn't stand people practicing music, so I never had to, which is probably really good for everyone. But my friends did, and there's very few of them that appreciated their parents who pushed them through it. Most of them, it's a thing. It's like, it was one of those things, their parents made them do it. They hated it.
Yeah.
They hated their parents for it. It did not make them a better person. It didn't
Yeah,
grow them or anything.
But you're taking, see, and you tend to do this a lot, especially with me, is you'll take a bad situation of like, Timmy grew up in this horrible environment, and so
Yeah.
anything that even resembles
Resembles.
what Timmy went
Yeah.
through, it gets immediately destroyed on the
Which
chopping block.
Which I also do on the positive too, and you call me on that too. So it's those extremes. And we were
Extremes.
just talking about extremes. If tough love equals a good positive result, it can also equal a bad negative result. We can't
I don't
exclude
think-
the two.
Well,
I
I
agree.
think
The
the
to-
intent on any of it is, what is that parent's intent?
Right,
Yes.
but intent
Is
doesn't
it-
No.
necessarily equate as a parent to success for the child.
Oh.
Intent is only for the parent. It has nothing to do
True,
with
but
the
if
child.
you're, that's absolutely true.
Well,
Like,
I
if
like
your
to bring up
intent
a
is to
real
encourage
story.
kid to develop a skill or grit or whatever, but you're also willing to acknowledge, like, okay, maybe there's another way. Maybe instead of piano, they'd like the clarinet, or they'd
so
like the flute.
so my
Yeah,
friend
totally.
Wajid
Yeah.
is saying is so Wajid I've known since I was a little kid, since I was about 7, 8, and he's just a few years older than me. So we're talking about only about 10 years, obviously now. So it depends on the child. Some respond better to tough love, others to empathy. As parents, we have to determine what style to utilize.
That goes back to what? Individualization, I think, maybe? Just
Well,
wanted
you
to
and
say
Wajid can go get some coffee. Doesn't mean
Here we go.
necessarily.
I would love to.
I agree.
Wajid, I would love to go talk to
Team
you.
girl power.
He's extremely wise, by the way. So this guy is
Yes,
like
I've heard
super
you say that
chill.
before.
Yeah.
Yes, he's
Okay.
very.
Yeah.
I don't know why or how he ended up. So he's a bit older than the rest of the boys that were in our group that we were
Yes.
growing up together, but somehow he's like kind of almost more like a young uncle, kind of the way
Yeah.
he would handle us. It was really, really very interesting.
Because he's wise.
Yeah, very wise, very, 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 very smart on these like personal dynamics. His dad is too, by the way. They have
Yeah.
this very, very good skill about themselves. But the thing is that as parents, we have to determine the issue there is parents are not necessarily. Let me
Being
rephrase
older
it.
does not make you wise.
No, what I mean is
No.
like it's like a wise
Having a
parent.
kid escape your body does not make you know how to take care
Escape
of
your
it.
Well, I would say it a different way. Just
Like, you had a growth removed doesn't mean you know what the growth can do.
I would say it a way to say a skilled or an educated parent that understands blah blah blah, comma, can make the decision, versus just like, I don't know, I'm the parent, I'll figure it out, because that is how a lot of parenting is done. Is like, I don't know, I'm doing the best I can, and I call that bullshit. I'm like, well, how many books have you read on the subject? Articles, YouTube videos, lectures, seminars, right? You can't do that to your
Even
boss. You,
interacting with other parents, like
something
Yeah,
something to
exposing
better
yourself
yourself
to
in said
variety.
thing, versus I can't do that in a company. I can be like,
Yeah.
I'm doing the best marketing I can. Well, how many marketing books have you read this year? None. Magazines? None. Seminars? None. I'm just doing the best I can. Like, no, professional growth, development, you have to
Yes.
learn. So as parents, if you're not, like Tangi's really good, I know Jannica is also really, really good about reading books and,
Yeah.
and exploring these topics and getting different opinions. And so you have to, I think, just this is not directed at him, just saying generally, just because you're a parent, like Emily's saying, just because things came from your body doesn't mean that you are masterful on working with other individual. Like,
No,
there's
we're
no
not
way.
going to get into that, but no, my
No.
parents were not, They didn't know what they were doing.
And there's a bunch of parents that may love their kid tons and really trying to do their best from a heart perspective, but they fucking suck at it, to be honest. And they're just terrible.
Yeah, but if you
terrible,
want to be a
terrible
good
parents.
parent, then it's not.
Amy
it's
Clark
not
is
doing
joining
the-
us.
It's not doing the automated, right? It's
Right.
doing it's creating how you want to, who you want to be for your kids, and who you want them to be, and who they want to be, and then blending all of that.
And the
And I like the
relationship
blend
between
of your style. So
the empathy. Well, so Tangi, when
What's
I
the
look at
deadbeat mom?
Tangi as a mom,
she's amazing.
she's amazing. And I love that there's very few moms out there where I'm like, I get it. You get what I get what you get. Like, and with her, there's a very symbiotic synergy in the way we parent. And I can see what she's doing and
That's
be like,
great.
oh, that's so smart. I love it. Right? And then, but outsiders are going, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, I don't know if she gets the criticism that I got when the kids were younger.
Yeah, but you
But
do.
it was
I
hard.
don't think she does. I hope
She's
she
in
doesn't.
a much different environment.
Right. I think she is in a really good group,
Yeah.
and I think she'll weed out the people that.
Yeah, that's awesome, and the family is different, and they support it. Whereas I have a lot of conflict. But she said that Issa's listening, and he is super excited that we said his name, and to say Issa again, say Issa again, say Issa
I
again.
love Issa. I actually was going to say Issa's name earlier.
What's up,
We
Issa?
love you,
I'm
Issa.
looking at this picture of you with all your toys, and you have your Spider-Man outfit on.
So
I really
Issa
like
Issa
it.
has saved about $64 or so, something like that.
Good job.
Last night he didn't do any. So last night he's like, Dad, I need you to give me $5. I'm like, why do you need $5? Not $5, Dad. $1, but 5 of them. I'm like, same thing, son. And so I'm thinking about this, and I finally I pick him up so I can hold him and I can talk to him, and he's like, his head's right here, and he don't look at me smiling, and I'm like, why do you need $5? And he's like, just cause.
Aw.
He's like, I was like, well, what did you earn today? What did you do? He's like, I didn't do my chores, but I still want you to give me $5.
That's nice that he's asking for what he wants, though.
Oh, I love it.
That's really great.
He knows exactly what he wants and he asks for it. So Wadja has a great point that all of this goes beyond the parents. It includes the grandparents, aunts, uncles, and it takes a village. Absolutely.
It is such a community thing.
And I totally think, and I totally agree, and I think it's really important to involve very positive people ultimately. So there's a difference between tough love and tyrannical asshole, and there's a
Yes.
difference between
Or
empathy.
control.
Yeah, and all of
Like,
that.
You're just going to do what I say when
Yeah,
I
that is-
say.
that's-
Authoritarianism.
Yeah.
Authoritarian. And then the other side is,
That doesn't have the kid's best interest.
No.
and the other complete 180 of that, I think, would be, and I don't even know what to describe it, because it's not empathy. I mean, it's whatever that is this complete
Control.
lack of any,
Oh, apathetic. Just
Completely
like, I'm
apathetic,
just
that
gonna
would be-
It doesn't work.
I'm oblivious. I'm just, if you're just
so
going to be
here's
oblivious.
an interesting thing from my perspective as when my daughter,
Or uninvolved.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
so I'm using the phrase my daughter, which is funny because as I'll tell the story, when Noor was, I don't know, like a couple of weeks
How
old,
old is she now?
she's about to be 14.
Okay. I'm like,
Isn't that crazy?
I know.
At the end of July. So when Noor was, I don't know, just a week or two old, I remember, and so she's like tiny, right? Laying in the crib. They can't even roll over or anything, but she had certain things that she already liked and was already doing in her own trait. And anybody who's ever raised anything can understand that you can identify that very, very early. I would imagine whether it's from a puppy to a baby human or whatever,
preferences,
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and I finally, it occurred to me that this being, this human, it's not my child like I own a car, right? It's its own person with its own traits, desires, and whatnot. And my job starts with safe, loving home, safety, try to keep it from killing itself. And then the other parts get to this conversation, like, do you force this? Do you not force that? Do you give this? Do you not give that? What do you do with cell phones? This was a recent conversation.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Well, what do you do with cell phones? In a self-directed environment, it's
And gaming.
traditionally thought in some schools that, hey, kid can choose whatever he wants. And my thing was, but a child cannot afford to go buy a cell phone. So it's really not self-directed, right? A child doesn't go buy a cell phone, doesn't pay for the cell phone plan,
Right.
doesn't sometimes even know how to set it up on Wi-Fi. yet you're saying that a child should be able to direct whatever they do and see whatever, right? Like, but it's completely within the paradigm of the parent controlling up to that point,
Yeah.
and then releasing control. Like, I don't understand that element, right?
I just
So-
don't get that analogy because children can't afford anything. So then we would get rid of self-directed education.
That's
Because
not
they
true.
can't afford the school. That's up to the parents. to put
No,
them
that's
in the
different
school.
though.
Okay, so then
Self-direct.
how? Explain your analogy to me because you've said it many times. I don't get how it relates to what.
Because
your point
only
is.
you can have a self-directed school in the back hills of some third world country. Yes?
Okay.
You cannot have an iPhone X in the back hills. This particular element, a specific parent brought in and said, here's a $1,000 phone. I'll pay your $100 data plan. But then
what
you
does
control
that
the
have
whole
to do
thing.
with
But you
self-directed?
control the whole thing.
But what does that have?
I
to
do.
with
I
self-directed?
agree.
I
That's
don't
my whole
get it.
point. I don't understand why that has to do with self-directed.
But are you
In a
asking
Sudbury
to
model-
be more involved in,
in a Sud-
what they see and do on the phone? Is that what
Yeah.
is that what you're alluding to? Like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And
I agree with
in
that.
a pure
Be
self-directed
more
model,
involved,
according to the
yes.
conversations we were having, parents should not be involved in those kind of conversations. Parents should not direct their kid in management of the phone. I'm like, well, why not?
Well, but here's where I think, and before you interrupt me, because you will, here's where I think you really miss the point of self-directed learning. As a parent's role with a child, or a teacher's role with a child, or an outside force with a child, it is not releasing and being apathetic. It's not releasing all input. It's being that guide and that sounding board and working through where they're at and meeting them there. It's not control, and it's not just do whatever you want. There's inputs, but you have to listen to where they're at before you give the input. It's not
just put the phone down. It's like, hey, what are you working on the phone?
yes.
It's having you're
Yes,
saying
it's
more
all
of
about
more of an
conversation.
interaction, more of a
Yes.
conversation
Yes, everything that is
before
done.
you direct something.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything that is done
that's
is a
great.
collaboration and a conversation before it's done.
Rather than just assuming that they're just gaming
Right.
and
Well,
they've
there's
been
nothing-
gaming for 4 hours.
But
You
some
say,
of that's
hey,
nothing
what have you
wrong.
been doing for the last 4 hours? Oh, well, I played games for 2 hours and I read this article and I did this. Okay, great. What did you learn?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we do with them. And that's how we started it. Let's have conversations. What do you want to do? What do you want to get out
But
of
you
it?
remember in the meeting very specifically, the idea was, but in other self-directed schools, that's not even an okay conversation to have with the kid. The kid can decide what they do the whole time.
But you're talking about.
Are you talking about like Montessori?
No.
No,
it's
he's talking
self-directed.
about actual schools that are like Sudbury. You're really talking about Sudbury.
That's what I
versus
just said a
self-directed.
second ago. I just said like the Sudbury School.
Right.
And I'm agreeing with
So-
your method,
But
100%.
But that's where I'm.
So
okay,
I'm
when
actually
you
agreeing
say
with you.
Say Sudbury, not self-directed. Because
Okay.
a
And
lot-
I did say in some self-directed environments.
Okay. Yes, in the Sudbury school system, kids are allowed to do whatever. There is no, you're not as a mentor.
There's no interruption or redirection.
And
Okay.
there's no even guidance at the beginning.
No interaction.
God.
Well, no, there's lots of interaction. And it is an amazingly successful system.
I think
But-
that would be a great environment for certain kids, especially if they had a foundation at home of a little bit more structure.
Nope, it
Right.
doesn't matter. And it's
Ooh.
proven over 100-year model. If you look at the summer
And
school
how are the
in
kids
England.
evolving?
So
They're-
amazingly.
It's amazing. But
Wow.
but keep in
Yeah.
mind, the cell phone is only around since 2006, kind of with the iPhone, the modern version of a cell phone,
Right.
because before it wasn't, right?
Right.
So they're
So
basing
it's-
their model on something that didn't exist up until.
Yeah. So now we have this.
No.
We have this
If you're
dope.
talking about the cell phone, yes, but
Okay.
but
But the concept itself, I could see.
has been around since like in England since
For
Right.
whatever reason, I
1920.
do feel like just the cell phone itself just
It's a
changes
whole
that
different
dynamic
thing.
a little bit. So
Well, I saw a 2020 special on it, and they were saying that when kids are putting the cell phones down in schools, their grades are going up like 14%, 7 to 14%.
Mhm.
And their interaction with other kids is increasing. So they're starting to go outside of themselves and really talk to kids and interact with their peers more.
being in this thing is safe and secure, and I can control if someone's arguing with me. I don't have to talk to them anymore. I don't have to
Right.
learn how to correctly
But
stand
that's
up
just
for
one
myself
stuff.
and
Yeah.
have boundaries and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, there's lots.
Yeah, there's a difference.
You could take it to the iPad, to a tablet, to a computer, to
Absolutely,
a gaming
yeah.
station.
Yes,
It's
there's
just the electronics with the escapism.
Well, I think it's because the portableness of a phone, and maybe a tablet too. A phone and a tablet at this point, they're,
Yeah.
I think there's a
actual
difference between
pluses, small tablets.
these particular devices and a metal lathe and a microscope and an oscilloscope, like those type of things. This is a different thing. Those
Right.
don't release, they're not geared up, they're not manufactured to release the same dopamine hits and whatever. And it's not even the cell phone, and it's not even internet. Because accessing Wikipedia
It's
and
the
YouTube,
way you use it.
it's amazing. It's accessing, for example, Instagram or whatever, which sometimes are very educational
Yeah.
and can also not be, right? And also in a sense, like there is no other thing out there that gives you the 20 dopamine hit every 15 seconds.
No, and there's nothing else out there that gives you the power to learn at anything you want to learn, to study. So
It's exactly the
it's
truth.
taking the extremes again and using that as an example of an extreme, because that cell phone situation applies to any type of education model. It's played, mind games with all educators at all different types of systems.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the phone. Like I said, I'm not against this, a 3x6 device with a glass screen. Like this is
Yeah.
not the actual problem.
Right.
And the problem is not if any of my kids have consistent, including Noah, consistent access to Wikipedia, Britannica, blah, blah, blah. Like no problems. It's like, oh, you're on YouTube watching, whatever. Or, hey, wow, you found where the naked people are at. And I don't know if a 3-year-old, I don't know if a 3-year-old's really ready for that necessarily, right? So that's what I'm saying. So when I say cell phone, I really actually don't mean the device, because it's amazing that you have a supercomputer in your pocket. Like literally, and this is the thing, if you're out there and you want to do anything, you're like, oh, I wish I knew how to blank. The answer's here. And if you don't
Just
know,
ask Siri.
Yeah.
and if you don't know how to find it, maybe that's an issue where you can actually ask some help. Like, I've been searching for this, I can't find it. Maybe you're using the wrong query, but the answer's here. Some very, very advanced topics are here.
You can
MIT,
you
Harvard,
can get connected to the answer through that device.
Yes.
Yes.
and MIT and Harvard and these schools are giving away free classes. I don't know if people know this. There is a mountain of free classes available now
Yeah.
from the most prestigious universities on earth for free. So I'm not against accessing data on 24/7.
Sure.
It's that when you get into these type of particular applications that, they're hard for adults to manage. It's
Yeah.
it's like having cookies that are laced with crack in them. Like we're
Well,
going to have
But like
a problem
every 6
managing
cookies
those.
laced with crack, so you don't actually know if you're getting a crack cookie until you're like, I feel weird now.
And I need another 8 of them. Yes,
Well, I think
that's
this
the
is
point.
learning the benefits of restriction. And when I say
Yeah, see,
that
that's-
word, it'll
So it just
automatically
says it.
bring up something in people.
How about self-discipline versus restriction?
I like that, but I said that word to
Yeah.
Trigger Janny.
get the
No, I wanna
reaction,
see
right?
why.
Yeah. But it is. It's like, how can we be self-disciplined in a way? Like, I can let myself react in negative ways every day to certain things in my environment that I don't really love.
Right.
Like people not picking up after their dogs. That's a big one. It's a big one for me. However, who do I want to be that day? Who do I want to show up as that day? What do I want to pay attention to? Like the trees and the people that I'm with and the conversations and creating a magnificent day for myself. Am I going to allow those things to take my focus away from who I really want to be that day?
I
Right.
just want to show up without dog poop on my foot.
That would be nice.
That's so
Which
crazy.
I could
requires you
live my
being
best
somewhat
life.
Yeah.
aware that it exists.
No, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Self-control
it's pretty funny.
yourself to be watching where you're walking and not looking at your phone.
Yeah,
So
I like
experience
self-discipline.
learning.
I
That's
love
the
that
key
word.
of self-directed learning. It's
Yeah.
one of the key core things that, as a
Mm-hmm.
as a parent of
Yeah.
that model or a teacher of that model or whatever, that's your goal. That your children that are with you or whatever that you're responsible for learn self-discipline. They learn how to learn. They learn how to follow what makes them happy, lights their fire, and they know self-discipline. If they don't
I think
have
it's great
self-discipline
to teach them self-discipline because you're not going to be in every situation with them. And I was a parent for 6 years, so it's like you want to teach them that when they're alone with their friends and they have to make those choices, what choice would you like to make in that situation? And let's talk about it because I'm not going to be able to be there to help you make that choice. who do you like? What do you want to preserve about yourself that you love?
Right.
That when you're in those situations, how are you going to have that conversation? I do think it's really great when parents teach their kids how to have those conversations, so that when they encounter bullying, how do they stand up to that? How do they have
Or
a
even more
conversation
seriously,
about that?
bullying is like, oh, bullying is bad, but it's feedback from people that are your friends and that you like and are nice to you, that are maybe leading you down that path of, the Pinocchio. We're like, it's all fun. Let's do these things that you shouldn't do.
Let's
but
play it's
so
just a
fun.
prank.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a prank to me if I'm hurting another person.
Mhm.
Wow, if you said that to your friend,
Mhm.
they get to think about their behavior and if it's a
Right.
really good thing or not, right?
Right. Yeah.
Without making them wrong. Like, how do we, this is a really great one. How do we stand up to the things that we don't agree with, that we feel like harm ourselves and others, without laying shame
Judgment
or guilt on someone,
Oh,
or,
Really,
snap.
really hard thing to do.
or
for kids
blaming
when they're
someone, because those are killers.
adults.
That's a great.
Shame,
That's a great.
blame,
Would you like to come
guilt.
back for that conversation?
Yeah, love to.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like,
So on the next episode of Lord of the Flies versus structured military, apparently military boarding school.
I'm gonna put like some sort of device in your suitcase when you go to Mexico, and they're just gonna detain you and leave you there.
Oh my
No,
goodness.
it'll be great. We'll interview.
I don't
all the
need that
animators.
already. I'm already getting that. Like, and you got a whole clan of us traveling. So what do you think?
No, we'll interview all the nanny babies, and they can be like, okay, free range military, and then,
Something in the middle.
yeah, the mean mom.
I can't believe you didn't invite me to Mexico with you.
I did.
You did not.
That's in your text messages. Look at it. You probably don't know how to use it though. Oh, snaps.
She's not self-directed enough.
So, there you go, Ginger.
Cool.
That's how we do our
This is
show.
how
That's
the show
it?
works. That's
That's it.
it.
What do you
All right.
think?
Painless.
You're like, adios.
So reporting here from Lord of the Fly Studios, this is Abe Nadimi.
I'm Jannica Morton.
Emily Francis.
Ginger Reid.
Thank you.
Bye.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. We're done?